Hey all, this is Mandy from Performance Place, part of the locally world-famous chiropractors in Costa Mesa, California. Today we're going over my two favorite exercises for snapping hip syndrome. If you're looking for that, stick around. So we'll get right into these exercises, but first I want to make sure that you're in the right place. Snapping hip syndrome is when you experience a snapping sensation right about here in your hip flexor. It shouldn't hurt when it snaps, but you might be, doing some knee raises or something like that and feel kind of a clicking or snapping sensation over this bony part of your hip. If that doesn't hurt and you're looking for some exercises to help that out, go ahead and follow along with this video. I have a timer going, so go ahead and start with me. We're going to start on our back, knees up, go into a range that doesn't hurt your hip flexor. So you may find that that's about 90 degrees here. We're going to go opposite hand to opposite knee, so right hand to left knee here. And we're going to push this knee away from your face, and your knee's going to try a knee in the face. So you're actually not going to move much. You're just going to push. So start pushing now. You should feel some big work in the belly here, and maybe a little bit of work in the hip flexor. If this is starting to hurt in the hip flexor, go ahead and change that angle of your knee. If this isn't very hard for you, go ahead and try and come up, smell the back of your hand. You should feel even more work in this core here. This exercise serves as a sort of dual exercise. We're strengthening this hip flexor here in an isometric, same length contraction. And we're getting a ton of core work that should support the hip joint in a different area. Hold for about 3, 2, 1. Relax. Switch sides, same thing. Opposite hand, opposite knee. Push against each other. If you're not feeling a lot of core work here, smell the back of your hand. And same thing, if you're feeling some symptoms into your hip here, change the angle. Go ahead and follow along with me. Breathe deep into your waistband here. Try and fill it up with each in-breath and let it out. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and down. If there's a side that feels harder than the other, you can actually focus on that side a little bit more. But for now, we're going to switch into my second favorite exercise. Come up onto your forearm here. We're going to be creating some support around the hip joint now. We've worked the hip joint by working that hip flexor in that short range there isometrically. And now we're going to work the side and the back of the hip joint in order to create some more support and not stress out that front part that may be snapping and unhappy right now. So, come up onto your forearm. We're going to be lifting our hips off the ground, kind of like you're in a side plank almost. But we're going from the knees here. And when we go down, we're going to sit down and back slowly and pause about halfway through. This is both the side of the hip exercise and the core exercise. And up, sit down and back about halfway. At no point should your hip actually touch the ground. We're just going in between the top and about halfway down. Keep going on this side. When you start feeling some glute work in here, try and lower even lower towards the ground without resting all the way. And if you need a little bit more of a challenge, you can actually raise this top hip, turn, and lower even more. The more you turn, the more effort you'll get in that hip and the more support you'll build around that snapping hip. 3 more here. Turn, down. Again, do not rest in between. Turn and down. Last one here. Turn, down, and hold. 3, 2, 1, and down. If you're having both sides of the issue, go ahead and do that on the other side as well. We have tons of other videos about snapping hip and about hip problems in general, including impingement, hip dysplasia, things like that. If you're sick of trying to figure out this stuff on your own, go ahead and give us a call. We're in Costa Mesa, California, but we do have virtual and in-person options. We're going to be doing some more videos here on snapping hip syndrome, so go ahead and click subscribe to the channel to find out some more exercises, stretches, and treatments for this.